Hey everybody, I'm Becky Adams. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel today. Today I have a project that I created just for fun, or that I'm creating just for fun, using the Paige Evans Wonders collection from American Crafts. So all the pattern papers, I think all of the pattern papers that I'm using today came from the 12 by 12 paper pad. And I don't usually buy the paper pad for a couple of reasons. One, the paper is usually thinner, and two, it's not double-sided. For whatever reason, I decided to go with the 12 by 12 paper pad, and I'm just playing with it and having actually a lot of fun. Just experimenting with different techniques and designs. So what I've done here to get started is I have this yellow pattern paper that is the background. There's nothing on the back side of this, and then I have a piece of cardstock that I cut down to 11 by 11. So there's about an inch border all the way around on this page. And friends, I'll let you in on a little secret. These stitching lines here, there's definitely no thread in these stitching lines. It is just holes, because I got started with the stitching and didn't realize that I had run out of thread, and I just kept stitching for a little I think till I turned the corner. By then it was kind of too late, and I just figured that I would finish with no thread, and honestly it really, you can't really tell, especially because it's a piece of white cardstock. So I have one photo that I'm working with here, and I wanted to add another pop of color to the background somehow, and so my first thought was to place these in the corners. But in looking at that, I think it's a little heavier than what I want. So I'm going to try tucking them underneath this white cardstock. So when I adhered this to the background, I did so just in the middle. And I think I'm gonna like this pop of blue on the outside of the white cardstock instead of the inside. So I believe, let me see, these are 3-inch squares. Yep, I just cut two 3-inch squares and then cut them on the diagonal. And just tucking them right under this piece of white cardstock. So don't be afraid to, change things up, and if you realize you don't like it one way, it's not a total loss on the, the cut of pattern paper. Most often if I realize that I, didn't like the way I cut something, I just find a different way to use it, and it always works out. Okay, so there's just my little pop of blue around in each of the 4 corners under the white cardstock. And I've got this 4x6 photo that I printed with a white background. And I'm going to mount that onto this pink photo mat. This one I did stitch around the edge. It's kind of hard to see, but I stitched around the edge, and I also distressed the edges of that piece of pattern paper. So I'm going to, I think I want my photo about right here, but I want to get a few other things in place before I adhere it down. So this tag came from it was just a pattern paper. I just fussy cut the tag, and I want to add this circle that says sunshine and smiles right there. So I just want to make sure that I have plenty of room. I also want to add the date, so I'm going to pull in this pop of blue, this blue label, to leave me some space for the date. So I'm kind of thinking that this is how I want everything. So I'm going to adhere, I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive here in the middle. And just make sure that I've got it straight with my T-square ruler there. And I'm actually going to cut this tag down because I can still use that pretty floral piece on another project. So as you can see, I've already tied a piece of white string here at the top, just crochet thread, and stapled it in place as well. Just move this up, make sure, there we go. And then on this one, often when I have two tags that I place together, I don't want two bows here, so I try to do two different techniques. And on this one, I just separated the threads and kind of made a little, I guess, fuzzy tassel. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's just a little different than the bow. And last but not least, last but not least, we'll put in this blue label. And you know what? Actually, I'm going to cut that down and save that other portion for another project. And let's pull that down just a little bit. There we go. And I want this die cut to pop off the page a little bit, so I'm adding some adhesive foam squares. These are from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. I love their foam squares. They're just the perfect height. They're really easy to use. And there we go. Okay, and then underneath the photo, I have these strips of, there's a pattern paper in the paper pad, and I believe in the collection as well, that has, it's just full of all these scalloped borders. And that's, anyway, I love fussy cutting, and so that's what I kind of jumped in and started that first. So I'm going to use an 1/8 inch double-sided tape. My double-sided tapes I get from either scrapbook.com or Thermalweb. It just kind of depends. Anyway, I put that, I just wanted the adhesive right there, or right along the top, because I want to tuck these other scallops underneath there. So I didn't want to put too thick of a line of adhesive. So we'll just put this 1/8 of an inch right along the top and remove the backing. And then we're just going to carefully tuck it under there. And we'll do the same on these other strips. When I cut these strips, I was careful to use different lengths. I didn't want all the same length of scallops. Let's see, we need to fluff these other ones up a little bit. Okay, make sure. I don't think I pushed the adhesive down hard enough on those ones. And then the other thing that I am watching is I don't want any of the rows of scallops to end at the exact same place. So we'll make sure and push that adhesive down really well. And then I just run my finger under the scallops and gently bend them up. I don't want them to crease. I just want a little bit of texture there. So now we have those in place, and this just adds a lot of fun texture and movement. And I wanted something circular since this is a photo about a merry-go-round. I thought that the circular element would be perfect. So I've got a sticker here that I got from the 6x12 sticker sheet of the Wonder collection. I'm going to put it right there in the corner of the photo. And then the title on this page is going to be Oh Happy Day. And these are from the puffy. They're not letter stickers. They come in packaged like thickers, but they have words on them instead of just letters. So we'll just put the title in place here. I love that the words are different colors. I love the font. It's a nice, easy to read font, and it's got just a little bit of a lean to it, which makes it a little more whimsical. Okay, now we've got that title in place. So we're doing pretty good here. The final thing we need to add is the journaling and the date. So I have my journaling printed here, and I was thinking that I wanted it to go right here, but putting it there, it's looking a little heavy. So I'm wondering, I think up here above the title is going to balance things out a little more. So I printed my journaling, and then I cut it into strips, and then I put that same 1/8 inch adhesive on the back. And at the end of all of my journaling, I print the date. And I do that just so I have it right there. Sometimes I end up using it like here, and sometimes I don't use it and I'll use a date stamp. In this case, I want to add that extra pop of black because that's something I don't have yet. So I want to add that in 2 different places. So on my journaling strips, they've already got adhesive here. So I'm just going to snip that bottom strip off carefully and remove the backing. And I will use my T-square to make sure that I get my journaling straight. And I'm starting with the bottom, like the last line in my journaling, and then I'll work my way up. It kind of depends. Sometimes I start at the top of, with my first line of journaling, and sometimes I start with the bottom. It depends on where I'm putting it on the layout. This one, I knew exactly where I wanted my journaling to end, but I wasn't sure on the placement on the beginning of it. And so that's why I started at the bottom, and I'll just work my way up. Once I have the first strip into place, I usually do pretty good at getting the rest of them straight. Not always, but most of the time. So you'll notice that I am not putting the strips, they're not lining up at either end. And when I have journaling that is not like up against a border on one side or both sides, I kind of bounce them back and forth to give it a little bit of interest and make it not quite so heavy. If I were to just print this on my computer and leave it as one journaling box and just slap it on the layout here, it would feel a little heavier and kind of out of balance to me. So that's why I do a lot of journaling strips. So as a finishing touch, I have this spot right here that is kind of throwing me off. I don't love that kind of awkward gap there. So I've got this washi that goes with the Wonder collection. Hey friends, okay. It's the next day and we started to edit this video and realized that we lost a little bit of the footage at the very end. So you didn't miss much. All I did was add a little bit of washi here and there, and the layout is complete. So thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with me here on YouTube. I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I have new videos up every Sunday and one or two throughout the week. If this is the type of video that you'd like to see on my channel, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. So thank you again for stopping by, and I will see you again soon.